In the heart of the southern coast of Bahia, just a few kilometers from the historic city of Ilhéus, one of Brazil's most ambitious port projects is being developed. A project that promises to put the region on the international logistics map and profoundly transform the economy of the entire state. We're talking about Porto Sul, a mega structure designed to receive large ships and handle millions of tons of ore, grains, and various other cargo. A project that connects directly to the West-East Integration Railway, creating a logistics corridor that goes from the interior of Brazil all the way to the sea. But how will a port of this size change the reality of Ilhéus and all of Bahia? And what challenges need to be overcome for it to become a reality? And, more importantly, what is happening today out of sight of the people to make all of this come off the drawing board? This is Construction Time. I'm Luciano Guimarães, and today you will get to know in detail the Porto Sul of Ilhéus, the project that promises to transform Bahia's economy and make history in national infrastructure. Porto Sul is being built in the district of Aratagua, on the northern coast of Ilhéus, between the communities of Samba and Tuba and Ponta da Tulha. The location was chosen after years of studies because it brings together three rare factors in one place: sufficient natural depth to receive large ships, proximity to strategic production zones in the interior of Bahia, and direct connection to the West-East Integration Railway, West-East Integration Railway. At sea, the infrastructure will be on an impressive scale. An access bridge about 3.5 kilometers long will extend over the water, connecting the mainland to the docking piers, allowing operations in naturally deep areas, and reducing the need for constant dredging. The complex will be protected by a breakwater in two segments. In addition, the project includes two main piers, deep draft ship berths, defense systems, mooring dolphins, and enclosed conveyor belts for loading ships. Reducing dust dispersion and improving operational safety on land, the back area will be equipped with covered storage yards at its core, specialized warehouses, tanks for liquid bulk, parking and maneuvering areas for trucks, as well as administrative, operational, and customs facilities. There will also be rail transshipment stations, wagon tipplers, and integrated systems for transferring cargo directly from the railway to the ships. Access to the port will be ensured by a robust set of road connections: Bahia 001 Brazilian Federal Highway, 101 Brazilian Federal Highway, 415, and Brazilian Federal Highway 262, complemented by exclusive railway branches connected to fuel. This multimodal integration will allow ore, grains, and other products to reach the sea from the interior in record time, reducing logistical costs and increasing the competitiveness of Bahia's production in the international market. But this choice of location is not just the result of engineering calculations. It also carries significant historical and cultural weight, as well as being set in an environmentally unique landscape. And it is precisely this combination that helps explain why this specific point on the coast was chosen to host one of Brazil's most anticipated port projects. The conception of Porto Sul didn't come out of nowhere. It is deeply rooted in the geographic, economic, and political history of the Ilhéus region. Since the beginning of the 20th century, the southern coast of Bahia has already been an essential port hub for the export of cocoa. In this way, the old Foz do Rio Cachoeira port, inaugurated in the 1920s, was succeeded in the 1940s by the Malhado port, the first open seaport in the country, inaugurated in 1971 and managed by Codeba. However, with the expansion of grain production in western Bahia and the intensification of mineral exploration in areas like Kitite, the need arose not just for a port, but for a large multimodal port complex. Therefore, Porto Sul was designed to integrate railway, port, and industrial center, connecting the agricultural and mineral production sectors to export. From then on, the project began to be conceived as an intermodal complex, not just a port terminal, but also including an international area, a processing zone and export zone, new road accesses, and even a connection to the Gazine gas pipeline. Its installation therefore aimed to restructure regional logistics by integrating different modes of transportation, positioning the south of Bahia as a strategic export hub with national and international reach. Finally, it is worth noting that the project was part of a strategic environmental licensing program plan called the Porto Sul Complex, which included not only the port, but also the terminals, the railway, and other associated infrastructure. This model incorporated the logistics of integration and coordination between the federal and state governments, with the participation of Bayman and private investors through a special purpose company. But now, how is the construction of this mega project being carried out? The construction of the Porto Sul in Ilhéus is an undertaking that impresses with its scale and the level of engineering involved. The project began with the land phase, with the implementation of the private use terminal by Bayman, responsible for the outflow of iron ore coming from Caetité via the West-East Integration Railway. This initial progress was only possible after the environmental licenses were granted by IBAMA, the result of years of studies and inspections to ensure the least possible impact. The construction method adopted is cantitravel, which is widely used in large-scale projects such as ports and viaducts. In this method, the structure begins to be built from the mainland and extends over the sea by modules, with piles driven into the seabed and reinforced concrete segments installed and cast on site. This technique reduces dredging, minimizes sediment suspension, and protects marine life, which is crucial for an ecological area. In terms of numbers, the project is impressive, with a 3.5-kilometer sea bridge, which is almost 9 Eiffel Towers, side by side, and a breakwater of approximately 1.5 kilometers. That's equivalent to 15 soccer fields lined up over the ocean. And of course, it also has an operational depth to receive ships with a draft of up to 20 meters, putting Ilhéus on the same level as major ports like Tubarão in Espírito Santo and Rotterdam in the Netherlands. But it's important to point out that the original plan called for the first phase of the port to be operational before 2027. A good part of the soil preparation, foundations, and access roads had already been started, and the maritime works were scheduled to move forward at a fast pace. However, the construction is currently halted. The deadlock began after Bayman broke the contract with the company responsible for part of the construction, resulting in the demobilization of teams and equipment. This affected not only Porto Sul, but also Section 1 of Fuel, which is directly connected to the project. Local authorities, business people, and even public campaigns have been pushing for an immediate resumption, while contractual adjustments and possible changes in shareholder control are being discussed, including negotiations for Vale to take over operations. This pause adds a question mark to the timeline, but it does not reduce the strategic importance of Porto Sul for national logistics. When resumed, the construction will have the potential to transform Ilhéus into a new export hub on the Atlantic. And, precisely, when comparing this giant with other Brazilian port projects, we can better understand its relevance. The Port of Ilhéus can be compared to several port projects around the world. But today, let's put it side by side with a project we've already analyzed here on Construction Time Porto Central in Espírito Santo. And if you haven't watched the video yet, it's worth checking it out later to understand every detail of this other giant of Brazilian engineering. Porto Central is a deep-water port industrial complex designed to receive large ships with a draft of over 25 meters to operate as a multi-purpose hub, handling everything from oil and gas to containers and general cargo. Porto Sul, on the other hand, although smaller in size, was strategically planned for ships with a draft between 15 and 20 meters. With a predominant focus on iron ore and grains, directly integrated with the West-East Integration Railway, an important difference lies in the stage of execution. The central port continues to move forward according to its schedule, with modular phases underway. Porto Sul, on the other hand, has its construction temporarily halted, awaiting resolution of contractual issues and possible changes in project management, such as Vale taking control. This pause does not diminish its strategic potential, but it highlights a common challenge for major Brazilian projects: turning planning and permits into continuous execution until completion. In the end, both represent a new generation of ports that are deeper, more efficient, and aligned with global requirements. But while Porto Central is currently an example of continuous progress, Porto Sul is experiencing a moment of pause, which could turn into a decisive breakthrough or just another chapter of long waits in national infrastructure. And it's precisely this uncertainty that makes many people wonder when finally Porto Sul will open its doors to the world. Will it be ready to compete on equal footing with the biggest ones? Of one thing there is no doubt: ports like Sul and Central are more than just engineering projects. They are catalysts capable of reshaping economic maps, shortening distances, and creating new chains of opportunities. It's not just about steel, concrete, and depth, but about the weight of expectation that thousands of people place on these structures. As a promise of a more prosperous future, Porto Sul, in particular, carries a powerful symbol. Even in the face of the current halt, it remains a key piece to connect the interior of Bahia to global trade. Every meter of breakwater and every pile driven into the seabed, it represents not only physical progress, but also the hope for a transformation that can forever change the reality of the region. Because in the end, every great port is more than just a terminal. It is an open door to new possibilities, a meeting point between dreams, strategies, and international routes. Thank you for watching this video until now. What do you think about this Porto Sul in Ilhéus? The construction should already be more advanced, right? Leave your opinion about this topic in the comments. I'll stop here. A big hug and see you in the next video.